Welcome to this episode of OG55. I got the Italiano with me today. We are live. We're taking your questions all about theme parks, studio, anything really. I mean, you want to talk music? You want to talk personal life? Hey, we're an open book here. Whatever you want to talk about.
Breast
You know?
size, I'm good.
Hey, there you go. Whatever you want to talk about, this is a blank canvas. Everybody at home just paint with it. Here we go on OG55 Live. Welcome aboard, everybody, to another episode of OG55 Live. It is good to see everybody in the chat today. We got Abby in the chat. We got Theme Park Conductor, SD Drawings, Mr. C. Moore, Duck, Dragon Blood, Googam. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this fine evening. Mr. Italiano, how you feeling tonight, sir?
I'm feeling good. It's always a good time recording with you, but also doing these lives, interacting with the people that support our channel and get into in-depth conversations and sometimes go off the rails a little bit, which is always a good time.
Yeah, exactly. Where can everybody find you on social media, sir?
Absolutely. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You could also find me on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you can find me right here on my home base at Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner, with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
There he is, Mr. Sticky. All right, here we go. We got Dragon Blood in the house. Dragon Blood here says, and Dragon Blood, is always good to see you. Thank you for joining us. We do appreciate you. Dragon Blood here says, if I had to say my fave things from the video with Disney Soul Queen. Now, I just want to give a big shout out. We did a video that premiered last night with Marilyn. Lovely gal. We had a great conversation about all of our favorite things at the Disneyland Resort, whether it be rides, attractions, lands, food, hotels, events. I mean, we went through a whole list of everything. Check that out. It's up right now. But she's amazing. She's been a friend of the channel for a really long time, and we're going to definitely have her on again very, very soon. But I digress. My favorite attraction has to be either Pirates or Haunted Mansion. My favorite land in Disneyland would be either New Orleans Square or Fantasyland. I mean, that's a solid list, bro. Like, honestly, like the lands, I think George and I think that was pretty much ours, right? We had New Orleans Square, like slightly edging out Fantasyland, but not by much. My favorite attraction was Pirates. But, I mean, you do Pirates, you do Haunted. I mean, neither one of these are a bad choice. So the thing with Disneyland, Dragon Blood, is that Disneyland is such a stacked park. I mean, there's so many fantastic attractions in Disneyland. It is kind of hard to choose, to be honest with you. But if you're going to choose Pirates or Haunted, not a bad place to start. Mr. Italiano, any comments or thoughts on what Dragon Blood is saying?
Yeah, I think pretty much, same as what we were saying. I mean, even though that Pirates or Haunted wasn't, my number one is, as I said, my girlfriend's dad worked on the ride, one of the greatest rides in all of Disneyland, with Winnie the Pooh. I mean, come on.
It's an amazing, immersive, next-gen experience, George. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, absolutely. I mean, but no, it was actually Indiana Jones, which actually, as I said, my girlfriend's dad worked on the ride vehicles, which I think is just awesome that I'm in a relationship with someone who actually worked on something that has an impact in the parks, and that's phenomenal. But you still can't go wrong with Pirates and Haunted. Yeah. And then, as we said, New Orleans Square and Disneyland's Fantasyland is like very, very close, because Magic Kingdom's Fantasyland is just complete utter crap. Which, really quick, I have to say, speaking of crap, real quick.
That D23 Brazil episode really went in the toilet. Oh, it did. It absolutely did, Shane. I mean, we had this whole video about our predictions for D23 Brazil, and there were no announcements. So everything that we predicted was wrong, because there was literally no announcements at the event. It was absolutely crazy. Absolutely
I also
crazy.
think too that it was part of the conversation we had with D Magic Girl about the bathrooms.
Oh,
Disneyland.
okay. I see
Yeah.
what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Absolutely. Mr. Tripp Johnson, always good to see you, Mr. Tripp Johnson. Always good to see you. Do you think the culture wars are mercifully over? No, they're not over. You still have people harping on this nonsense still. A lot of YouTube stuff about the culture war and all that stuff, but it is dying. I think the culture war is winding down. I think it is circling the drain. A lot of these grifters are having to pivot now to other things because it's just not what it once was, right? So yeah, I don't think the culture war is over, but I certainly don't think it's full steam like it was a few years ago. I think it is winding down. Thank goodness for that, because I've said for years now that I think that whole culture war stuff, it's annoying. It really is annoying. But what say you, George? You think the culture war is over?
It's definitely not over, but it definitely, as you said, it definitely wind down a bit. You know, it's not at its peak because Disney is on the up, you know, and yeah, are there things that they still have to work on? Are there things that they still have to fix? Yeah, but what company or business doesn't have that? You're never going to have a perfect straight line all the time. And I don't understand why people feel like that there is a need to have everything perfect, because if you even, we said it on the channel many times, you take the term woke means something different to everybody. So something that would be perfect in someone's eyes may not be for somebody else. So it's like it's for some, you know, it's like you know, with the decision if Monsters Inc. would be replacing Muppets, or the Cars and Villains area replacing Rivers of America. You know, there's a lot of people that wouldn't be happy about that, but there are people who don't really care. But that doesn't mean that that's wrong. So
Yeah.
you can't say that, oh, it's wrong for everybody, because technically it's not.
Well, and woke is a very fluid term, and I think it's kind of a fluid thing on purpose, because for example, when you have a movie like Barbie, and Seymour Duck has mentioned this many times, shout out to Mr. Seymour Duck, but when you have a movie like Barbie, a lot of these content creators were going out there saying this is going to be the wokest movie that Hollywood ever produced. Remember all that? I do. Mm-hmm. I certainly remember all that about this is the wokest thing Hollywood's ever done, yada yada yada, right? The minute that movie started to make money, the minute that movie hit $1 billion, you never heard a single word about that thing being woke anymore, did you? Why? Because the entire bumper sticker slogan, the core of the entire stupid thing is go woke, go broke. So if you admit a woke movie made $1 billion, that takes a stake through the heart of your bumper sticker, go woke, go broke sloganeering. Okay, so it's purposely vague and purposely fluid, because then you can change what it means for certain things based on what's convenient. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much what's going on there. But yeah, but the culture war lives on, but it's definitely circling the drain. So hopefully it gets flushed all the way very, very soon. Mr. Googamp32 says, with Disney set to get an EA CEO to succeed Bob Iger, our good friend, Mr. Bob Iger. We love Bob. Yeah.
Just got off the phone with him earlier.
Oh, dude, come on now. You know, hey, dude, we got Jeffries in Malibu this weekend. You know what I'm saying? We got to make plans. Do you think this is a signal that Disney intends to re-enter in-house video game development? Now, I do want to say, Googamp, Disney is not set to get an EA CEO to succeed Iger. That is not really 100% like true, to be honest. They are considering him. Andrew Wilson, I think his name is. They're considering him for the CEO spot. That does not mean they're set or it's going to happen. It will happen. Nothing like that. They're just considering him. To be honest with you, he probably won't get it, to be honest with you. But yes, they are considering him. And I mean, I think that Disney has invested heavily in Epic Games, and I think they're going to focus on that when it comes to video games. I don't really think they're going to get too far off the beaten path with that stuff. I think what they're doing is they're focusing on Epic, the Fortnite stuff. I think that's what we're going to be getting for a little while now. I don't think they're going to really expand too much into video games right now or in the near future. That's just my opinion, but I'm not like a gamer. I haven't been a gamer since like, you know, Kid Icarus and like, you know, Duck Hunt. Okay. So it's been a while. Okay. But overall, yeah, I think that that's pretty much where we stand. What say you, George, in terms of the EA CEO coming over to Disney and what that might mean for Disney and video games?
Yeah, we had a little bit of this conversation with Seymour on the recording that we did the other day, and he's not too much of a fan of it. Now, I don't know really like how like EA games like operate as a CEO kind of standard, but you know, Seymour was kind of given the points of like how they kind of nickel and dime everything. So to bring someone over to a company that's already starting the transition of nickel and diming things, that he thinks that wouldn't be a great fit. However, it still may be a surprise. You really don't know how one can transition, because a lot of people were saying that Eisner and Wells, you know, one coming from Warner Brothers, one coming from Paramount, that, you know, okay, how are they going to bring back the Walt Disney Company? Yet they did, you know, so it just depends on. Plus, if they tie him into a dual CEO role, like how Iger was kind of presenting out to Netflix to kind of get some in-depth, you know, opinions, which we all know it works anyway. But I think Iger is kind of exhausting all his outlets, all his options to see what could happen. So, I mean, if you do have a good balance of two people that would fit the role for the CEO, it may go well. I'm very optimistic about it, but I don't know how I would feel if Andrew Wilson, it is, that if he was to run it all by himself. I'm not 100% sure how that would go, but I'm not opposed to bringing somebody outside of the company in.
I agree, 100%. Arlene is in the house. Thank you, Arlene, for joining us. I love the heart hands. We always love heart hands here. Here, you can even do heart cheeks, heart. We can do a lot of hearts here. But thank you so much for being a member. We do appreciate it. It's always good to
do. You do heart hands. I do ass cracks.
There it is. Yeah, exactly. There it is. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we got Mr. C. Moore Duck in the house. Mr. Duck, thank you so much for joining, brother. We always appreciate you. Mr. Duck is family here on the channel. Thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine debuting with 19.4 million views on Disney Plus in its first 6 days. That's strong. That's pretty strong. Disney Plus's most watched live action film of the year. Remember, this is rated R. Yes. Remember, this is rated R. Remember all the problems people were having with putting adult content on Disney Plus and how it's all this brand damage and this, that, and the other. You know, it's a good thing. Okay. Disney needs to expand demographics, and they've been doing this really ever since Michael Eisner. I mean, Michael Eisner, he pushed the envelope with Disney when it came to more adult content. You know what I'm saying? He did. And look, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, if I bring up a movie like Roger Rabbit, right? Well, oh, gee, you know, I mean, Michael Eisner knew that, you know, that movie was edgy, but he released it under Touchstone Pictures. Yeah, he did. He released it under Touchstone Pictures because it was so edgy, then turned around and put Roger Rabbit in the parks like crazy. So it's like, you know, can you imagine if, I mean, it's the same thing as this Deadpool thing, right? It's an R-rated franchise, right? And they're putting it in the parks. It's very similar to that Roger Rabbit element, but long story short, they needed to do this. Disney Plus needs to be a much more diversified streaming platform to compete. It can't just be all family fare. Now, it's up to the parent to do the parenting. If you don't want your kid to watch Deadpool and Wolverine, you set your Disney Plus's parental controls. I am a firm believer of parents parenting. It's not Bob Iger and Dana Walden's job to parent your kids. So whatever's appropriate for you and your family, you set the controls accordingly. But as a streaming service, Disney Plus needs to have something for literally everybody, and that includes rated R content. Just set your parental controls if you don't want your kids to watch it. That's how I feel about it. The Italiano, how do you feel about it?
I absolutely agree. You know, you as a parent, if you feel like, you know, Deadpool and Wolverine is not something that you're comfortable with your kids watching at that moment, definitely set your parental controls and put on something a little bit more wholesome that your children could watch. Like, like Bluey, or a Disney classic animated film, or South Park, whatever you choose.
Yeah, South Park.
But I think, yeah, you have to look at the wide scope of the demographic, that there has to be something for everyone. You can't just go to one direct mainstream. And Deadpool and Wolverine did banger numbers at the box office. They're doing banging numbers on Disney Plus, and I definitely am looking forward to seeing that the Deadpool holiday little show that they're doing at DCA. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, me too. It looks pretty funny from what I've seen so far. Dragon Blood, the How to Train Your Dragon live action trailer leaked on Instagram, and I think also on YouTube right now. Be careful if no one wants to see it yet. When I saw the trailer, I'm excited and it looks beautiful. Yeah, I saw like one of the stills recently.
I saw like a couple of them.
Yeah, and it looks really good. I think there's a lot of potential with this How to Train Your Dragon live action movie. I think if done right, I think Universal might have a massive hit on their hands with this, and it would reinvigorate and re-energize this franchise, which I think is a fantastic franchise.
Especially since the land is now going to be part of Epic Universe, so it kind of ties in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. SD Drawings, good to see you, SD. SD is in the house. If The Wild Robot was a Disney movie and made the same money, it already made, there would be 100 YouTube videos saying it was a flop. Oh, 100%. 100%. It'd be Big Mouse bad all day long, SD. You know that. So yeah, that's how it works here. It's just the way it is. Disney is a target, and it's a target because a lot of people wage the culture war nonsense, and they feel Disney is the center of that culture war, and that's what it is all about. But any comments on this, George? You actually saw Wild Robot.
I did. It was actually a very heartwarming, touching, beautiful film, and I think it was great for DreamWorks. I mean, was it like the best animated film? No, but I think it was definitely a decent hit for sure.
Yeah,
but absolutely. Yeah, I definitely agree. If it was Disney, it would have been a flop.
Yeah, of course. Remy D in the house, guys. Which is better, Dole Whip or Butterbeer? Oh man, this is crazy. You might have to take away you might have to actually take away my Disney card, Italiano, because you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say Butterbeer, baby.
I think I might be right there with you. I do enjoy a Dole Whip, a good Dole Whip. I really do. But I'm good with having one. Every time I'm at Wizarding World, I always have to have two. I never just get one Butterbeer. And I drink them both. Whoever has been at Universal with me will see. I will literally chug 2 Butterbeers at once.
Yeah. I'm not like a big like soft serve ice cream guy. I mean, I like it. I'll have it, but I never really crave it too much or whatever. The Butterbeer stuff, like beverages like that, are right up my alley. And Butterbeer all day long. Like George, I can have like 2 or 3 of those. Easy. But I gotta maintain my figure, you know what I'm saying? So I gotta be careful with that. Ian Grimm.
Not me. Oh, fuck it. Like it's
I don't care. Ian Grimm, thank you so much for being a member, Ian. Always good to see you. We had a good time with Ian actually this past summer in August. He was at our OG55 meetup at Downtown Disney. We had a really good time. But it says here, saw the Deadpool holiday show this weekend at DCA, 10 out of 10. DCA is such an underrated holiday park. I agree with you. DCA is amazing during the holidays, especially Halloween and New Year's, actually. I think New Year's is better at DCA.
See, now that's going to have to be the next one because I've never been to a Disney park during New Year's.
George, what is going on, bro? I thought you were a Disney fan, man. What's going on, dude? Hand over your Disney card. Hand it over. We're gonna revoke it. No, I'm just kidding. But Matterhorn Mania, thoughts on the new building next to Haunted Mansion. So here's the thing: when they were building it, I was like, "This is kind of big." The building itself was fine, but it looked a little big. Now that they've added like the theming to it, the wood paneling and all that stuff, it looks better. I think it looks better than it did when it was just that steel structure. I think that the theming and the lighting and all that kind of brought it down a little bit for some reason. I'm not really sure how it did that, but it feels a little smaller now that they've added the thematic elements to it. But still, I mean, it is still a little big. I think that they could definitely have toned it down a little bit. I think the reason why though it is so big is I think the Imagineers wanted to bring the perception of Splash Mountain, or now Tiana's, they want to bring the perception of it down and not look so much like a giant mountain, because you don't have mountains in New Orleans, right? So they wanted to bring it down optically, like that forced perspective. So if they build this big merch store like right there, visually your eyes it looks smaller. I think that was the mindset, but I think they could have gone a little bit smaller with it, though. I do think it is a little too big, but not terrible, though. It looks a little better now that it's finished. What say you? Double fisting. Yeah, double fisting butterbeers. Absolutely, Eileen. Absolutely. What say you about the merch store, Tiana?
Yeah, for me, it definitely looks much better completed. I don't really have a problem with the structure of the building itself. I think it's the placement of where they have it. It just looks very out of place. And I feel like that the surroundings of the building, it's just the building sitting on concrete. It feels like they just picked up a random building and threw it right in the middle between the mansion and Tiana's. I feel like if they would have put maybe like some like a little bit of a grassy patch area somewhere, or maybe like some shrubbery or trees surrounding the building, kind of make it look a little bit woodsy. I think that would make it look a little better.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got California Dreamin' here in the house. It's always good to see you, California Dreamin'. Thank you for joining us. So now that the dust has settled, final thoughts on Tiana's grade on a scale 1 to 10. Okay, so I've only been on California's version because you know what, California Dreamin', I'm a Californian.
Mustard on the beat, ho.
Yeah, that's how we do it here. OG55, we're Californians. Even George, he's going to be a Californian. George is so West Coast. He walks in the room and then immediately,
mustard on the beat, ho.
That's how West Coast George is. No, but in all seriousness, California Dreamin'. I actually really like Tiana's. I know there's a lot of people that are going to get so mad at me for saying that, but I'm going to be honest. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I think it was very well done. The animatronics, all of them worked when I was there with Theme Park Wizard a couple weeks ago. I thought it was fantastic. I mean, I didn't think it looked cheap at all. And it was a great attraction. I think I do have complaints. I do have some issues with it. I do think Disneyland's version, they need to calm down with the water a little bit. That is a little bit excessive now. You get a little too wet. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's an issue. I like the outside building, or not building, but I like the outside structure. But I think it is not quite as cool as Splash Mountain with Chickapin Hill, right? Mm-hmm. I would have preferred if they would have stuck with the tree facade, right? I think that would, so again, Tiana's isn't terrible on the outside, just not as interesting of a structure as we once previously had. I think that could have been better. But overall, California Dreamin', I liked it a lot, man. I really, really did. I thought the music was great. I thought it worked really well. One of the others, actually, I do have one more complaint, and that is the CGI Tiana and Lewis. Mm-hmm. I thought in that one scene, I
agree.
Yeah, they could have done hand drawn on that. I think it would have been a better effect. But overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, if I were to rate this thing, I'm going like an 8.5. I'm going with
that was actually mine was an 8.5.
Yeah, I'm going to solid 8.5. George, any additional thoughts on that before?
Yeah, literally, that was my pick, and everything that you had mentioned. I feel like that the screen-based Tiana and Lewis, it kind of gave off like a Disney Junior-esque feel to it, to the animation. I would have preferred it to be like the 2D animation, like they did the Fireflies. They did all the Fireflies in 2D animation, so why couldn't they do Tiana and Lewis? I didn't get that. And also Mama Odie, they had her in like the computer animation. I didn't really care for it too much.
Yeah, but for some reason with Mama Odie, it works a little better for some reason.
Yeah, it still sucked. But anyway, but no, I actually agree with you. Like it, yeah, I could deal with Mama Odie, but yeah, for some reason Tiana and Lewis just didn't work. I do agree with you with the outside structure. I do love the structure, except for, it feels a little bit bare on the top. I wish that they would have put something that would have been recognizable as something that was in The Princess and the Frog, because I think that's what was relatable to us Disney fans with Chickapin Hill. It was something from, I know a lot of people never seen Song of the South, but it's still something that resonates with the story. And then, of course, I love getting wet on the ride, but there is such a thing as getting too wet. And I feel like that sometimes the ride is moving at a fast pace that you got water dripping down off your face. You're trying to wipe it off. I mean, it's like walking out of the bedroom with me. It's like,
yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, George, that sounds like a Friday night for you, huh?
yeah.
Absolutely. We got the one, the only Cassandra Chamberlain in the house.
All of the lights.
Cassandra is always the life of the party. Cassandra, thank you so much for joining us. We do appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us on OG55. Good to see you. Brandon Bushnell here says, with the Cocoa Boat attraction coming to DCA, do you see Disney retheming the Grand Fiesta Tour of Coco at Epcot?
Good question.
That's a good question. I could see it. I could absolutely see it. I think Coco is a strong franchise. I could see Disney sort of swapping that out with Coco. There wouldn't be any pushback, I don't think, because it's still respecting the pavilion, the country, of Mexico and everything. You're still respecting it. I don't think there would be any issues doing that. Will they do it? I don't know. I'm not sure. What say you, George? Do you think they might?
So here's the thing. They may. I mean, Disney is always, doing stuff that, if it works, go for it. And it costs.
And if it doesn't work, still go for it.
True. Now there are some questionable factors that come into this, because the Grand Fiesta Tour, it's a great ride. I absolutely love it. It's based off of the Three Caballero film, which I absolutely love. But the structure of the line is, for that attraction, is sort of like how Living with the Land is also at Epcot. It's a very tight squeeze. And I feel like that's what she said. But for a popular ride of what Damaro is describing, this Cocoa Boat attraction, they would need to heavily change the structure of the queue to fit a lot of people in. And if they do that, it's going to hinder the indoor-outdoor feel of that the Mexican pavilion. And right. I don't know if they're willing that they'll have to like restructure the whole thing. I'm not saying Disney can't do it. I just don't know if they will. Plus, I still love the Grand Fiesta Tour, and I love how it's something different than what would be at DCA. So there's pros and cons to it, but I'd be happy with whatever they decide.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And George, we have to get you some authentic Mexican food when you come out here to California. Del Taco is awesome, but we got to get you some real Mexican food, brother, and we'll get it for you. When you're coming down soon, so we'll get it for you. We'll get it for you for sure. Mr. Theme Park Conductor is in the house. Everybody, go and subscribe to Mr. Theme Park Conductor on YouTube. He is an amazing friend of the channel. I did get your text, by the way, Conductor, or your message, and I'll get back to you. I got to talk to the Italiano, but I'll get back to you on that. I will. I promise you, brother. Have you guys heard that Walt Disney is considering the new Cars Land and Magic Kingdom, reconsidering the new Cars Land and Magic Kingdom and what the layout will be, and possibly in a different location? I don't know. I've heard a lot of rumors about that stuff. I right now, I'm not convinced.
All speculation. There's nothing really that is signifying that they're going to change the location or canceling it. I think this all came about when Disney had to kind of go back a little bit in the drawing board to kind of give what their replacement plans would be for the the water management district, because of like what they have to do with removing of the rivers of America and what have you. So the management district gave them I don't know if it's the management district or if it was the city.
It was the water. I'm not familiar with this stuff either, George, so I don't even feel bad. But it's like the waterworks something or other.
Yeah.
Okay. Something with that. Yeah. They told Disney they got to. Yeah.
It's the thing. It's the thing.
The water thing, right? It's that water thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they got to go back to the drawing board and kind of reconfigure things. But they're going to figure that out.
Yeah. And they gave them 90 days, which I know that they're already in that process, but I'm for sure Disney has already started that plan. But I think when that happened, speculation came to say that, high hopes that, the river is staying and what have you. But we have very high reliable sources that tell us that no matter what, it's the river's going. the foundation and the concrete, even though they haven't spilt it yet, is basically they're moving forward with this cars area.
Did you say hi ho, George?
Hi ho.
Watch your mouth, young man. Watch your mouth. Yeah, Cassandra Chamberlain here says real Mexican food is a must, George. Yes. And George is going to get that. He is going to get that when he comes down. See, even Abby says, we're going to get George some real Mexican food. Yes, we are. We're going to get George some papusas. Absolutely. And then
those anyway.
The what?
I usually get those anyway.
Oh, do you? Absolutely. Mr. Conductor here says, we do have some news at Universal CityWalk in Hollywood. Buca de Beppo will be closing soon. No date yet, but it has been confirmed. See, this is really disappointing news. What does Universal have against Italians, George?
I don't know. Like,
what do they have against Italians? This is
we did
bad.
Absolutely nothing to them.
I'm Universal. We are so sorry about that Epic Universe video we made a few months ago, saying that we didn't like the roller coaster. But please bring Buca de Beppo back. The Italians still love you. We love you. No, but that is crazy though. I think Buca de Beppo, if I'm not mistaken, Conductor actually filed for bankruptcy recently. And so that's probably what it is. It's a Buca de Beppo problem more than
that's like a major heartburn because Buca de Beppo would need some Pepto de Bismol.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Ian Grimm. Oh, actually, okay, George. So we have a friend of the channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our friend her name is Maybe. And we're on the Italian food, right?
Right.
She asked us both, pizza or pasta. What one can you live without forever? I'll give you mine. You go first. Pizza or pasta. So you can never have it again.
That was very difficult. I had to really think about that, but I'm kind of a stickler between both of them, but I have to have like my pizza in a very precise manner, where I can kind of go a little bit off the edge with pasta. Plus, after the fact that I had Jolly Spaghetti at Jollibee's.
Yeah, you had Filipino spaghetti, bro. It's done for you.
It's over. Done for me. So I have to go with pasta.
Okay, that's interesting. Now I love both. I want to make that very clear. You know what I'm saying? I love both, but honestly, I'm more of a pizza guy. I'll get my pizza. I'll get I usually get like some kind of meat, so either pepperoni, maybe sausage, and then jalapeno because I love spice. And I'll even put like some Korean chili flakes on it, even add a little more spice on it. But I'm a pizza guy, so I would definitely do without pasta. But that decision was not taken lightly. I will tell you that because I do love pasta. I just love pizza more. So just want to clarify that. So comment in the chat, what do you prefer, pizza or pasta? Ian Grimm, will we get a Citrus Corner edition of favorite Walt Disney World things I needed? That's interesting. So we did a video with Marilyn last night, and we had a great time with her. She's a lot of fun. We did everything Disneyland resort related. Favorites. George, maybe we can bring on like a Florida person.
That's and then we got to find a Florida person and we'll do the Walt Disney World edition of favorite things.
Absolutely. I think that's a great idea. I think it'd be a really good idea. Shane Narani, now that Blue Sky Studios is gone, who do you think will do Ice Age 6? Well, I know the answer to that. I was wondering the same thing, Shane. It's going to be Fox Animation. I looked into it. It's Fox Animation. Also, do you think we will see any 20th Century Studios properties in a parade or nighttime show? It's possible. I mean, like Avatar, especially with Avatar coming to DCA, I wouldn't be surprised if we see like I keep wanting to call it Pandora. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Avatar in World of Color or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So no, absolutely. I think we can definitely see even Ice Age. I can see like an Ice Age 6 like tag. You know how they do those little like tags in the beginning when they promote like the next movie? Yeah. I can see them doing an Ice Age promotion in World of Color. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So yeah, 100%. What say you, George? What say you, Italiano?
I definitely agree. I think even, as you had mentioned with World of Color, especially after Pandora does come into play at DCA, they're going to want to utilize that in World of Color. So we'll probably get a different rendition after World of Color 1. As far as with Ice Age, I could definitely see it because, again, I was doing a solo live and I had mentioned that Disney was considering on putting Rio and Ice Age in Animal Kingdom, and like 5 seconds later, that's when at D23 Brazil they made the announcement of Ice Age 6. So
Crazy.
Anything's possible.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible when George is out here manifesting everything, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. But the Giant Peter show here says, I think all the OG55 fans are now following the Queen after you tagged her. Okay, so on Instagram, I posted the outro to the show on Instagram, and I tagged the lovely lady who did the intro for us, right? Her name is Asian Queen on Instagram, and I tagged her. So yeah, she I wanted to give her a promotion. I wanted to at least publicly thank her, and people that are fans of OG55 can follow her on Instagram. She's awesome. She does a lot of kind of like, what would you call that, George? Like lip syncing, and dancing and things like that in her videos, and it's really cool. She's fantastic. She's like a fashion model. She has modeling stuff. So yeah, make sure you check her out. She's Asian Queen on Instagram. And for those of you that don't know, this is her right here.
Thank you for watching OG55. If you aren't already, consider becoming a member.
There she is, beautiful young lady, and yeah, make sure you follow her on Instagram. Dragon Blood. West Coast. Hey, yeah, West Coast, George, West Coast.
Aye. Mustard on the beat, ho.
There we go. West Coast. No, Westcott. George, talk about it. Yeah, exactly. Come on, let's get some Westcott manifesting. Let's do this, George. Let's get
gotta get that Westcott.
Gotta get that Westcott in the West Coast.
Aye. Mustard on the beat, ho.
Okay, there we go. Hold on one second. I totally lost my spot. I'm too busy doing my West Coast. Let's see here. Where are we? Oh, there we go. Ape Abroad says here, do you think the Coco Avatar expansions are another Rivers of America situation? Example, demolishing all of Grizzly Peak for the Avatar project. Do you think the Coco Avatar expansions are another Rivers of America situation? I don't think they're going to bulldoze Grizzly Peak. I don't. I think that's way too costly when they have a lot of other areas where it wouldn't cost half as much. Yeah, they're not going to demolish Grizzly Peak. They're probably going to build Pandora in the Symbol lot where all they have to dig up is asphalt. That's pretty much it. They might replace Hollywoodland, but they're not going to go through that giant mountain. They're not ripping that out. There's no way.
That's going to take more money to do that and then rebuild the foundation.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. And
then what is to say what comes of Grand Cali?
Right. Yeah. Then you interfere with the whole theme of the Grand Cali and with all that, and it's not going in there. And you need a show building for this giant boat ride they're building for Pandora, and then you run into the problem of like the show building will either butt up against the rooms of the Grand Cali or sit right in the middle of the park. How are you gonna do that? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense. So Kiki and Luca is in the house. We love Kiki and Luca, and we also love Mr. Lucas and Disney. He's also in the house. So gentlemen, it's always a pleasure and an honor having you joining us today. Let me see here. CSRS, could a compromise be Avatar just take over the backlot portion of Hollywoodland and Avengers Campus takes over the Hyperion and Animation Building? That would make Cameron and Feige happy with tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that is a great way to do it. That is a great way to do it. CSRS, it's very, very possible. You don't want to piss off either one of these guys. Feige, especially, here's the thing, right? We did a video on this, right, George? Recently. Tomorrow is he's running to be, he wants to be the next Disney CEO. The last thing that Tomorrow wants is to have some sort of beef with Feige, right? I mean, the golden goose, essentially, or even the bigger golden goose, Cameron, really, in a lot of ways. He doesn't want any problems with these guys. So he's going to work with both of these gentlemen to figure out how he can make both of them happy, especially right now. He wants to be CEO. He cannot have James Cameron walking into Bob Iger's office going, who's this Josh guy telling me where to put this Pandora thing in DCA, right? It'll work itself out. But this is a great idea, CSRS. George and I talked about that as well recently in a video. I think that's the way to go. Absolutely the way to go.
And hold on one second, bro. I have to just address something really quick. Lucas and Disney. The moment George goes to West, the less there will be discussing Walt Disney World. Well, definitely, Lucas, I could see your concern there, but don't worry. I am still going to be keeping the Citrus Corner aspect of the channel because I've been to Walt Disney World many times over growing up. I've been there 30 plus times and still counting. Plus, even though I'll be on the West Coast, I'll still be making avid trips over to Walt Disney World. Abby and I were already discussing that eventually we're probably going to get annual passes over there for when Monsters Inc. opens and Tropical Americas and everything that's going to be coming to Walt Disney World. I'm going to be going over there too to cover a lot of stuff. So yeah, don't worry about it. We're still going to be covering Walt Disney World for Citrus Corner for sure.
Yeah, no, that's not going anywhere. We have a passion for Disney as a whole, so that includes Walt Disney World. So we're talking Walt Disney World, like just like we talk about the international parks and other things like that. And I've never been to the international parks, but yeah, Disney World is still going to be a huge part of our content here on the channel, Lucas. So yeah, don't even sweat that. No worries at all. Let me see here. Where were we? Give me 1 second. Give me one moment, please. There we go. California Dreamin'. Remember that racing game Disney had on PS1? That was the best. Oh, yes. Yeah, I do remember that. I never played it, though. Did you ever play that game?
Oh, yeah. California Dreamin'. I think I know the one you're referring to. Is it the Walt Disney World Magical Racing Quest? Because if that's the one, oh my gosh, I played that religiously. I loved where you can race through the different attractions and oh my gosh, like right now, if you look at it, the pixelating of that game is so crappy, but I mean, it's still a classic game. And I also love Disneyland Adventures that started out with the Xbox Connect. I absolutely love that game. I think that was where it was like kind of like a little bit of the pure essence of what Disneyland is all about. Now, obviously, with all the newer additions, obviously Splash Mountain becoming Tiana's and the purchase of Lucasfilm, they could not add Star Tours or Indiana Jones to that video game, but I would love to see an updated version of Disneyland Adventures where you can add those and even add DCA to that. That would be really cool.
Yes, I would love that. Kaylee with 2 E's in the house. Kaylee, it's always good to see you. I still think that Hello Kitty is so dope. And she is referring to this Hello Kitty right here in a little bear outfit. Now, I do want to tell everybody at home that my backdrop, there's a lot of things on this backdrop that mean a lot to like me personally and like the channel in general. So you can see here we have a Spider-Man, which is a tribute to our one and only Mr. Webba, right? This Captain Rex right here. Captain Rex, right? Oh, sorry. It's hard to do this backwards. I feel like a weatherman.
Yeah, you're like a weatherman.
Was given to me by somebody very, very special. And where else? Oh, over here, this right here, this tiki bird. Someone very, very special gave me this, which is his name goes by the Italiano right there. I just have a bunch of stuff. I have actually a coaster back here somewhere where it was the first time I hung out with Jay Shear. Right, George, with Jay and Modern Mouse.
Oh, yes, at Trader Sam's.
At Trader Sam's. And just a bunch of stuff. I have Kiki and Luca's, he sent me gifts. I have them in here, DVD. So just a bunch of stuff. I have actually Kiki and Luca, another gift of his back here. So the whole background has stuff from friends and family of the channel. So people have asked me that in the comments before. So I just want to go ahead and let people know.
The one thing that I'm surprised that you don't have sitting on that shelf is just like a 5-foot Asian girl just sitting there waiting for you.
I have her, bro, right there in the corner. See the wait, where is she? There she is, right there. See her? She's not 5 feet, but she's there. Oh, sorry. I would suck at a weatherman. I can't point this stuff.
Dude, we have a science center out here that you could actually test yourself of how well you would do because you're essentially standing in front of a green screen. And oh my God, it is so much harder than it looks because you're looking at yourself on the camera.
Yeah.
And you have to maneuver your finger to where you should be pointing.
Right. And Kaylee, if you're still watching, if I move up a little, do you notice a little somebody up there? Wait, right there. Weatherman, I can't do this right there.
Oh, I see the little capybara.
Capybara right there from Kaylee. So yeah, I have a very special backdrop here. So it's pretty awesome. pretty awesome. Let me see here. If we got what's the next one? George, I lost my spot. Oh, here it is. Disney should combine Hulu, ESPN Plus, Disney Plus content into one singular platform. There is no point in separating it now. What do you guys think? Yeah, they should. I completely agree. I mean, I think they aren't they doing that though? If Seymour's still in the chat, I thought they were. Wasn't ESPN? Didn't they just say in the quarterly earnings call, George, that they were going to have an ESPN tile on Disney Plus?
They're adding an ESPN tile into Disney Plus. But again, even though they're adding the tiles, they still have the separate streaming services. So I guess maybe they still do that because in case if people don't want the whole bundle, like if there's really someone that's not a Disney lover or a Disney watcher, and there's no need for them to have Disney Plus, but they're a sports fanatic and they want ESPN, or they like the content on Hulu, that's probably why, you know, you could still have that option to just get those. But yeah, I think honestly adding the tiles would definitely help for the people who do want the bundle.
Exactly. Ape Abroad says here, do you think Disney might use the Eastern Gateway expansion plots to extend downtown Disney? Why use land when you can rent it out? Do you think Disney might use the Eastern Gateway expansion plots to expand downtown Disney? I don't know what expansion plots he's talking about exactly.
Do you think Disney might use the Eastern Gateway expansion plots?
Do you mean the bus load area? Because I don't think that's going to be downtown Disney. There's no way. I think they're going to use that for DCA. If that's what you mean, Ape Abroad, no, I don't think it'll be. I think that's going to be theme park, because it might have to be. If they're going to put Pandora in Hollywoodland, that has to be theme park. If that's what you're referring to. But clarify in the chat, though, April Broad. I'd like to know exactly what you mean by that. I'm not 100% sure. Remy D, given how popular Frozen is and how the international parks have gotten or will get a flavor of it, do you think one is inevitable in California or Florida? If so, which resort is the better fit? Well, I mean, Florida already has a Frozen ride.
Yeah, in Epcot.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll add another whole like Frozen based attraction. Not unless it's something completely different. Maybe based off of number 2 or possibly number 3 or 4 that's coming out. Other than that, I think honestly the full blown Arendelle is going to come to Disneyland.
Yeah.
One way or another. Whether it's in the imprint already of Disneyland or part of Disneyland Forward, I think Frozen's coming to Disneyland.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. I agree. Cassandra Chamberlain, Universal's promotion for Wicked has been insane. I remember when Disney used to be on that level for promoting movies. Thoughts? It has been. Everywhere you look, it's Wicked this and Wicked that. I'm not interested in that movie, to be honest with you, Cassandra, but I do think it's going to do very well. I do. I think there's a lot of hype for it, a lot of energy behind it. I think people want to see this thing. I think it's going to do very well for Universal. I'm not sure how it's tracking, though. If anyone in the chat knows how it's tracking, if those numbers are out yet, please let us know. But what do you think, George? Do you think they've been doing a pretty good job, Universal, with this?
They've been doing a very good job at promoting with the commercials, with the meet and greets, a lot of the merch done at Universal itself. Dare I say it, this may be a huge comeback for the World of Oz since actually the 1930s classic, The Wizard of Oz, because I think this will bring a new generation into a new storytelling. Plus, Wicked as a Broadway show was very popular and is still very popular. So to put that on the big screen with Ariana Grande and Cynthia, I do apologize. I forget your last name. I don't even know if I know how to pronounce it, but two very talented young ladies that's portraying the two witches, so to speak. So I think it's going to do very, very well. I think Disney and Universal are going to have like a nice clash of the titans, so to speak, with that, because with Disney with Moana 2 and Universal for Wicked. And dare I say it, I think that maybe even create some sort of Oz type maybe land or attraction that may come to Universal.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And real quick, while we're talking, I forgot one thing. Those Toontown bookends. These Toontown bookends right here, the red and the blue. Those were given to me by my late grandmother, and those things are literally as old as George. I'm not even kidding you. Like these things are like circa 1993. Okay, I mean old. Because you're super old, George. That's kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just messing with George. No, but they are that old though. They are as old as George. And the interesting thing too is in 1994, in my area that I was living in at the time, we had a giant earthquake, 6.9 earthquake. I don't know if you guys remember the Northridge earthquake at home. Massive. We lived in Northridge at that time. Anyway, these things are heavy as hell. They didn't go anywhere. But after that earthquake, I bought a bunch of quake putty. And you can still see the quake putty residue underneath these things from 1994.
That's wild.
Oh my God. It's like old, so it's crazy. Shane Narani here says Disney knew before they announced Cars Land was replaced. Disney knew before they announced Cars Land was replacing Rivers of America that it was controversial. That's why the information was put on Monday after D23. Oh, yeah. That was so done on purpose. I mean, 100%. 100%. Ian Grimm here says, who do you think might do the candlelight professional at Disneyland this year? Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds, The Rock, Amy Poehler. I don't know about Ryan Reynolds. I don't know. He's got a little bit of an edge to him.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of an edge to him. I don't know if he could do it. The Rock, I could see The Rock maybe doing it. Definitely. Yeah. He's very kind of family friendly now. Yeah, not Ryan Reynolds though.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Ryan Reynolds. Hugh Jackman, I can see, even though he has some ridges as the character of Wolverine. I think he had a lot of other great roles, such as The Greatest Showman and Les Miserables. So I think, he would be a good fit for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Have you done that before? Oh, no, you haven't. You haven't been to the holidays.
No, I've never done. And actually, someone just asked me about the candlelight profession. It was, your sister asked me about if I was going to do the candlelight and I thought, oh shoot, I completely forgot about it, to be honest with you, because it's huge in Epcot.
Yeah.
It's really big, and I know it's big at Disneyland, but I think because they have a designated spot for candlelight, which I know they do at Disneyland, but where you could intermixing in with the day or the evening activities done by Main Street,
Yeah. Yep, 100%. You just gotta sit down, right, George? Sit down. Gotta sit down. Dragon Blood says here, still wondering why they still won't tell us where Monsters Inc. Land is going, even though it might as well be Muppets. Oh, that's why they're not telling us. It's gonna be Muppets.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the Muppet area, so they're really scared to say it. But I think that's why they're scared to say it. Look, if it was going in the animation courtyard, Tomorrow would have announced it at D23 Brazil. There was zero risk to announce that. That would have been an easy announcement for them. But they didn't do that because they know it's going into the Muppets area, and he doesn't want to get booed on stage.
Yeah.
So it's going into Muppets.
I think that they're going to make that announcement. I think honestly around the first of the year, after the holidays are done, while, everyone has the good holiday spirit and good cheer. Then once 2025 comes in, time to crush your dreams, Disney fans.
There you go. Exactly. So Ape Abroad here says, I was referring to a portion of the bus load unload area. Yeah, I got to respectfully disagree, Ape. I do think that they're going to use that for a theme park. I would be very surprised if they expand downtown Disney into there. Now they might, you might be correct. I mean, we're all just speculating here, but my theory is I think it's going to be DCA, because DCA is very short on space, and to put shopping there, I think that's a wasted opportunity, in my opinion, though. But we'll see. You could be correct. We will absolutely,
just like the Toy Story parking lot. I'm sorry, that's going to be the third gate.
I would agree with you. Yes, I would agree with you. Ian here says, I need an Alien or Planet of the Apes ride and land. Yes, please. Yes, please. I think Planet of the Apes in Animal Kingdom would be spectacular.
Oh, that would fit so well with the backdrops and everything.
Yeah, I would love that. Absolutely, Ian. Arlene says, I cannot wait for Avatar. Yeah, me too. Pandora at DCA is going to be crazy. And we're going to get that at night. It's going to be at night because we don't have the animals like Animal Kingdom has. We're going to get it. DCA is a gorgeous park at night already, and you're going to add Pandora in there. Come on, A+. Lucas in Disney here says, I do believe that Disney's Hollywood studios need to have a bigger expansion than what it provides, so they can add more 20th century films and attractions in there. If anything, they should add Star Wars Galaxy's Edge as a secondary entrance. What say you about that, George?
I definitely agree with Lucas. I feel like they need more. I feel like Hollywood studios, they can get a little bit more edgier, and they could use the 20th century and the Fox properties. And again, now how could they utilize that? Let's see. Well, they did have an attraction that they could constantly infuse different kinds of IP into that setting, and they just happened to remove it for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. That could have gone anywhere else on property. No, they had to take out the Great Movie Ride. But bitter party of one.
Yeah, no, I understand the frustration with that. I absolutely do, because if you would have kept the Great Movie Ride and added Mickey and Minnie's, you added a lot to that park, because that park is really low on attractions. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand your frustration. And plus, I never got to ride the Great Movie Ride, because my first time at Walt Disney World was summer of 2023. And I'm sad about that, because I think that from what I've seen, it looks like an amazing attraction.
Oh, that ride was so unique and different. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah. It's crazy, but c'est la vie. What can you do? You know what I'm saying? What can you do? Dragon Blood. Whenever Monsters Inc. opens in Hollywood studios, how long do you think Monsters Inc. laugh floor will last at Magic Kingdom? To be honest with you, it might not affect it. Hey, look, I was on camera. You should check out my old videos, Dragon Blood. Like even before the Italiano joined the team, right? When I was doing solo stuff, I was making these speculation videos going, oh yeah, once Galaxy's Edge comes, Star Tours is dead attraction walking. It's gone. It's leaving. Here we are, 2024. We're going into 2025, and we still have Star Tours. It's a different park, and so that's another thing. So yeah, it probably won't go, or if it does go, it won't be because of Monsters Inc. opening in Hollywood studios. Just in my opinion, but we'll see. You never know. We'll see. They might even add like that kind of concept to Monsters Inc. Land or Monstropolis at Hollywood Studios. So we'll absolutely see. Mr. Lucas Kim says, I don't mind being 50s, 60s era retro Tomorrowland like it's the Jetsons, but I do mind when I'm going to watch Tomorrowland Speedway and Space Mountain existing for the next 20 years. Yeah, that 1950s, 1960s, like that mid-century retro Tomorrowland look is so perfect. It's like the only timeless version of the future that I think we have.
That's why I think if they were to move anything of the Marvel brand over to Disneyland into Tomorrowland, it would be Fantastic Four.
Yeah, and they should. Shane here says, I think the other problem with Avatar Land and Hollywood Land is Guardians of the Galaxy Tower. It would be hard not taking you out of the land when you see that building is so hard to hide. That's a good point. I never considered that.
That's interesting.
That's a good point, Shane. That's a good point. So we'll see. We shall see. So I want to thank everybody who joined us today. Fantastic live show. Dragon Blood, Jay Brad, Abby. I think you know Abby, right, George? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think I do. Yeah.
Vaguely familiar?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Lucas and Kim, and of course, we got Cassandra in the house. Everybody who joined us, Rick, Nick, Kaylee, Kiki and Luca, Arlene, the Giant Peter Show, Shane, Narani, Ingram. Thank you all so much for watching this episode of OG55 Live. George, where can everybody at home know? Wait, hold on. We got a Cassandra message. One sec. Have you tasted all the colors of the rainbow? And I'm not talking about Skittles, George.
See, she knew you were closing it on. She's like, okay, we didn't get like nothing.
We didn't get into the good stuff yet.
So
okay,
like,
go.
Okay, so trying to got to finish this live off right here. Normally, Cassandra, I don't really go by Skittles. I usually go by Baskin Robbins. And for me, as I said, I am in a committed relationship, with Abby and everything. But I will say, prior to that, I have had Baskin Robbins all 31 flavors.
There it is. There it is, George. Mr. 31 flavors. Absolutely. But yes, good night to Shane. Good night to the lovely Abby. Good night to Dragon Blood. Good night to everybody. George, now that everybody at home knows who she is on Instagram, at least, if you follow me on Instagram, you know who she is. But Queen is going to close us out. The Asian Queen, we're going to close it out. See, she's always got to do this. Cassandra's always got to do this. Dirty George. Exactly, George. You're dirty. You are dirty, dirty, dirty. Go wash your mouth, George. Thank you all so much for watching this episode. Oh, here we go. You know what that means, George?
I did. Yes.
Do you want to explain or no? No.
Abby, yeah, you know what? I'll just do it. Yeah, I'll just do it here. So Abby's referring to that she is my number 301. So it's a run-on joke that OG and I did a members only show of like relationships and everything, and like what we're or not, or just like what we see like when we want to be with a woman and what have you. And see even the train's excited. So but we were kind of like talking about like our types and like what we're into sexually and all that stuff. And I said the number 300 and it came out completely wrong. It made it I wanted to refer it as it was 300 times that I received a certain act. But the way that it came out was I was with 300 women.
Yeah, because we
know 300 women.
Right. I'm like, George, you're pulling like NBA player numbers. Okay. This is crazy. But we were talking about body count, right?
Yes. Oh, that's it. Yes, you're talking about body count. Yes.
But George was counting each individual experience. So if it was one girl, but she did it like 5 times with the one girl, he would say 5. So it was like, it went up to like 300. So that's the joke.
Yeah,
so Abby,
it was 300. So after the fact, I realized what I've done. I called Abby and I told her, I said, oh, when you watch this show, I have to make something very clear. And she said, what? I said, just trust me. It's not what you think. So when she watched it and she came back and she went, oh my God, you just turned yourself into a man whore. So since we've been together, because I said that 300, that she's my number 301. And I always say 301 for life. So
there it is. And Mr. Pint.
Mr. Pint.
And Lucas here says 300 body count. He's made more body count than James Bond and Pierce Brosnan. Exactly. Whew. I tell you, George. I tell you, bro. All right, everybody. We're going to close it out. Tinder. Yeah, exactly. Number 301. We should start a new show for George. Call it the 301.
The 301.
The 301.
Because in California, you guys add the in front of everything. So the 301. The
301. Because you're Mr. West Coast now, right?
Hi. Mustard on the beat, ho.
There we go, Mr. West Coast. Thank you, everybody, for watching this episode of OG55. Talk to you later, alligators.
Thank you for watching OG55. If you aren't already, consider becoming a member today.